but I want to see more big sends. You guys at Snowcross, you better listen, because if you're not, then I don't know what you're doing wrong, but you got to listen. The fans want big sends. You are the premier series for snowmobile racing. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm re-recording this podcast, as yesterday I was recording and I didn't plug in the 3.5 millimeter jack going into my XLR cable, and I had no audio when I went to edit this podcast. So kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Technical difficulties happen sometimes when you're doing this stuff. So I want to jump in and say, I know I haven't been very consistent with the podcast, but I'm going to try to be more consistent for you guys. Going to Valcourt and doing the 2 East Coast rounds was a little difficult to do a podcast. I stayed at a buddy's house between the time of Valcourt when I left on Sunday night to Monday. I got into New York. I do believe it was Monday morning. But I stayed at a buddy's house in New York, and I didn't have any time to do a podcast. I planned on doing one, and I just couldn't find the time to do one with editing and all that good stuff. So leads me to here, doing podcast update for New York, or for Valcourt and New York, and going into ERX. There's some really good info that's coming out, some PRs that have came out going into the weekend of ERX and Eagle River. So let's jump right in. My first, let me get to my page here. My first initial thought on Valcourt, obviously it's my favorite track of the whole season. The venue itself, great sunsets. The food is so good there. I got the poutine Sunday afternoon during some of the LCQs that were running for ISOC. And yeah, I just had a really good time. It's always a good time over there. I know a lot of my buddies, Kevin Vachon. I saw my buddy, what the heck is his name? I can't remember his name, but I used to do quad racing with him when I was shooting quads. And it was the number 22. I think it's Fred Bichot, I think. Saw a lot of good friends of mine, and it was a good experience. I love that venue. Valcourt's always good with the ice ovals, snowcross, SEMX series. And also I want to drop really quick is that I partnered up that weekend with Technicam, my buddy Matthew Bateau over there, who runs and owns SEMX and is also the owner of Technicam here, a degreaser company. He jumped on board on the weekend of Valcourt to put his name on all the content that we dropped that weekend. So I appreciate you, Matt, for jumping on, becoming a partner, and really helping out our program here. And I was so happy to help you out with content, with whatever you needed as well for Technicam, SCMX, and also your daughter, Charlie. So all around great experience. I love that venue. Like I said, can't say enough good things about it, but I do want to talk about the track. Track hasn't changed the last couple of years. Last couple years, the tabletop, finish line tabletop has been really big. This year they shortened it a little bit. Not sure why, but it seemed a little bit more racer friendly. They weren't just going up when they hit the face. They were kind of going outwards as well as last year. It was kind of shooting them up and making it very difficult for them to clear the whole tabletop. So I guess that there was some advantage there. That does come down to groomer design and track design, though. If you're going to make a face that is going to go right, straight up, kind of like a supercross track face, that's going to push you upwards. It's not going to push you outwards. So maybe making the face a little bit more at a 45 would make them hit that table and clear it a little bit better. But I'm not a track design guy. I'm just a media guy, and what I see is I'm going to put that out there as far as what they can do better. But again, I'm not a groomer. I'm not a track designer, just a media guy covering the events. But overall, track was great. I felt like they should have stuck to the track map that they had. They had two triples on the track map. They weren't on the track, which kind of a bummer because I would have loved to see some triples. But on the Air Force section, they had I think it was a double or a single, something like that. And then everybody was kind of doubling into the corner on the inside, which was really cool. The outside was really fast too, so it was really choosing your lines to help you get an advantage. And some lines were getting chewed up, so then you had to change up the lines. And we saw that throughout the whole weekend with every class that was racing. The line choice was very, very important at this track. Going forward, after that section, there would have been another triple after the Air Force section after that corner, but unfortunately that was not the case. That was a double, I do believe, and you were kind of going into a corner. The inside corner there between the split lanes was really cool. That was a dugout wall, and one rider that I was watching very closely was Creighton Dillon, and he was kind of riding up on the wall, and it was making for some really cool shots. And that guy can ride a sled. I got to tell you, he is for his rookie year in a pro class, he is making it look like he has been in the pro class for years. He is riding that sled to no end. That's why he's in second place in the points, right behind Jordan LaBelle, really scratching at Jordan's heels and whatnot. But back to the track. Another thing that I wish they would have kept from 2 years ago was the triple going into the rhythm section. I wish they would have had a triple there. That would have been really cool. A couple years ago, they did. The face was huge, and it was just sending guys. It wasn't really like sending them to do a quad, but it was making it so then they were getting really, really big air and making it so the triple was really a really decent jump. You weren't just going into it licked. You were really having to know how much speed that you're going to go into that section. And this year and last year they didn't have that, which I was kind of bummed because it would have been really cool. I love big triples, and I love to see guys making it so then there is possibly a quad. We haven't seen any quads this year at any tracks, but we've seen a lot of triples. Outside of that rhythm section going towards the start straight, everything was kind of the same. We did see a few incidents happen Friday night. Anson Shield track skid actually came apart off the snowmobile, which we haven't seen before. I've seen tracks split in half and come derailed, but Anson Shield, I talked to one of the mechanics over there, and he said that the bolts that hold the skid up on the frame or on the tunnel came undone or broke. I can't remember, one of the two. I think they broke, and so that's what caused his skid to come off of the tunnel, which was crazy because I had my camera shooting right there in that section on the finish line. It happened right at the finish line, right on the lip. So he's lucky that he didn't get any further. But I was shooting right at the finish line, and somebody came over that rhythm section, and there was snow dust. So I didn't really get to capture what exactly happened to his sled. But I did hear it. It sounded like a chain binding up. It was gnarly. And he was just kind of just standing there like, what the heck just happened? And the snowmobile was like kind of a triangle looking. But anyways, Saturday was really good. Before I get into Saturday, Friday, they had ice oval practice for the ice oval guys with the pro champs, F3s, bikes, quads. It was gnarly. It was such a good time. Going into Saturday, there was also Friday. Sorry, keep going back and forth. Friday, the SCMX had their one round. They had practice in the morning, and then they had one round LCQ and then finals, which was kind of odd. I talked to Matthew, and he's like, that's just the way they do things here. There's nothing we can really do. And it kind of sucked because we had that same thing happen at Canterbury 2.0 where they cut down the races for the morning amateur classes, and they did it again at Valcourt, which I get that it's a time management thing, but everybody's paying the same price here. Everybody's traveling the same amount of time to get to these races, and they should be able to be on the track as much as they can and let these kids show their talent. Because if you just do round one in LCQ and a final, there's no opportunity for younger riders or riders that are down in the classes to have some sort of opportunity to make a final or have a good heat race or a good round. So in my opinion, I think that needs to stop. Don't take away racing, even if it's really, really cold. These kids are out here for a reason. They're out to race. They love the cold. They love snowmobiles. So let them race. Let them get their money's worth, and let them have a good time. That's all they want. They just want to race their buddies and have a good time. So let's go to Saturday. Saturday was really good. Racing was really good. It was a little bit colder on Saturday. I think. Now all the days are kind of mixing up. But Saturday we saw a lot of good racing from the ice ovals. Our boy Blaine Stevenson, I do believe, took 1 and 2 in his heat races. Going into Sunday's finals. But yeah, there was a lot of good racing. Everything's kind of blurry right now. Reed Klinger was on fire. I know that he won a few of his heat races, and Gunnar Stern was out, guns a-blazing as well. And there's another guy that nobody really had on their radar, which was what the heck is his name? Danik Lambert. He was kind of right there waiting in the wings for everything to happen, and he did find success at the end of the weekend. We'll get to that in a little bit, but back to the snowcross on Saturday, we saw a huge mix-up on the podium. Well, not a huge mix-up, but we saw a mix-up on the podium. We saw Daniel Benham on the podium on Saturday, which was really good for him. Articat and Fratelloden Racing. Jordan LaBelle took the win, holding the red plates, moving forward into Sunday. And we had something really cool that we implemented the weekend of Valcourt. Our good friends over there at Donks Designs in Cadillac, Michigan, saw our vision of having points leader red plates throughout the whole season, or throughout this portion of the season moving forward, Valcourt and moving forward to the end of Duluth, is having points leaders plates. Number one, series points leaders. They can either, if they're on the podium, they'll hold up the red plates, or if they're not on the podium, I go and hunt them down, get a picture with them, and then put that on social media, so then they get to know, or the fans get to know, who the red plates are for those classes that we have during snowcross, which, again, so thankful for snowcross to let us do that, and so thankful for Donks Designs to be a partner and print up those graphics for us, so then we can really push our vision to that next level. So it's kind of cool, something for you guys to look out for. And let's talk about Creighton Dillon. He also got on the podium again, and he got another second. I know he was sick of getting second places, and he really wants to take wins. He did get a win at Canterbury, so kudos to him at Canterbury 2.0. He got his first win, I do believe it was Saturday. But moving over to Sunday, where everything kind of shifted, racing started a lot earlier, and we had finals for the ice ovals, finals for ISOC racing, and it was, again, a great day of racing. So going to the ice ovals with the Pro Champ class, I'm saying it right. Danik Lambert took his first win, and in 20 years, a Quebec rider hasn't won Valcourt. So how crazy is that? He has stopped that onslaught of loses, or I should say, that onslaught of not winning Valcourt for 20 years. He finally put that to rest, and he got a win for Quebec. So that's really cool for him, really cool for his team, and really cool for him to put a stop to that 20 years. And he was excited. We did an interview, we put it on social media, and he said that he didn't even know that he won the race until after the race. He saw that there was one rider in front of him, which would have been Blaine Stevenson, because Gunnar Stern blew a belt. And Blaine Stevenson was running out front until he had his own mechanical. He blew a belt as well. We got that on tape. That was on his highlight reel. That was on his social media pages that we did for him. So go check that out. That was a fun video to do. So blessed to be working with Blaine and getting him some content from Valcourt. But back to Danik, his first win, he was super ecstatic. We got photos of that. He was hugging everybody at the finish line and super pumped to hold that championship flag at Valcourt. So congrats to you, Danik. Can't wait to see what you do next year. I'm sure this is huge momentum going towards the 2027 season, and really holding that throttle wide open and putting it to these boys once again. So, again, kudos for you to be being consistent and not having any mechanical failures the weekend of Valcourt. So, shifting over back to snowcross, we saw Cameron Cole. He dominated the weekend, really stamping down on this Pro Light Championship and holding that red plate. And he's throwing down with that Coutu Motorsports Polaris sled. That thing is a rocket ship. Whatever they have over there, they are doing things right. So awesome ride, Cam Cole. Championship looks like it's kind of locked up. You have a few guys kind of right there in second and third place. I know that I have written down that let's see, Drew Freeland got another win at Valcourt. I want to say it was Friday. He got another win last year. He got a win, so for him to repeat Valcourt wins is really cool. Again, he was holding that championship Valcourt flag. Who got third? I know it was another Skidoo rider. Oh, it was rookie Kenny Goike got third on Friday, and then who got third on Saturday? Now I'm drawing a blank. I want to say it was Artie Cat. I do not remember who got third. Dang. But anyways, moving forward. Outside of that, outside of Pro Light, in Pro Class, we saw Jordan LaBelle, Creighton Dillon, and Emil Haar, I think, got third on Saturday. I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got third on Saturday. Anyways, moving forward from that, I do have a few things written down here. Hot topic, what is going on with Emil Haar? Speaking of Emil Haar, what is going on with him? Where's the consistency from him and the whole team? Kind of jumping on you a little bit here, but where is that consistency that we've seen the last couple of years? You're a two-time pro champ now, and it's kind of weird not seeing you on the podium very consistently. We saw you on the podium at Ironwood and Canterbury, but the consistency, what is going on? Is it the Triple Crowns that's I know that you're really good at the Triple Crowns, but is it the new format with the two moto format that is kind of throwing a wrench in your mix? Or what is it? I'm kind of curious because I know that you know how to win, and it's just kind of odd that you haven't been very consistent on the podium, and I'm just curious. we didn't really talk about pro women's, but pro women's class is getting dominated by Hemmer Motorsports' Avery Hemmer on that Polaris. She has a big lead over second place with Anana Hogger in second, Victoria Dillon in third, and who's in fourth? Somebody's in fourth, and then Ava McCurdy's in fifth. Not sure who's in fourth. But anywho, rookie year in pro women's class to jump right in and be as dominant as she is. Avery Hemmer is really running away with this. She has, I think, at the beginning of the season, she had her first win at Ironwood. I think it was Saturday or Friday. She didn't have the best luck where Anana Hogger took the win. And then Avery Hemmer came. They kind of swapped places. It was weird. But Avery Hemmer is just on a dominant swing here. She looks like she's been in the pro women's class for a long time now, and she looks like she's a veteran in the class. She's just running the show here, and it's really, really cool that she has come out and really shown her talent on that Polaris and shown her talent on the big stage in ISOC, and really making her known in the record books that she is going to be one of the toughest athletes out there to compete. And hopefully when Malene Katu comes back, they're going to duke it out. All top five, they're all going to duke it out. So it's going to be interesting when Malene Katu comes back and really battles with the top five girls in that class. Let's see. One thing that I do want to talk about here is what is happening with Jacob Yerk. Last year, we saw him not have the support from Articat, and his team, Kylo Racing, really put everything out there to make sure that Jacob Yerk, to not saying that they're not making it sure or doing everything that they can for Jacob Yerk to get on the podium, but last year it seemed like they had a little more of a chip on their shoulders to bring Articat to that top step, and they really did that. Last year, they got a Triple Crown win at Eagle River. They were on the podium a bunch throughout the season. I think they had like 4 or 5 podiums. And what has happened? Is it him having a child? Is it that he's not wanting to get hurt, not wanting to go that extra pace? I don't know. I'm just very curious on what is going on. Maybe it is a little bit of a mental game for him right now. We've been documenting the whole thing, so check out our YouTube page to watch the documentary series that we have going on, which is called Pursuit, and it's all about Jacob Yerk and his whole team, Kylo Racing. So it's really cool for him to talk about the whole season. We have the last episode at Valcourt dropped, so check that out. We're going to be editing the latest one at New York here soon. Should be coming out Thursday of Year X. That's our plan. And yeah, I'm just curious on what's going on with Jacob Yerk and also Daniel Benham. Daniel Benham is a monster, but he needs to be more of a monster, and he needs to get that red plate back. The championship is coming down to the last 3 weekends of racing, and it's getting harder and harder for him to reach that red plate and get that championship. But anything's possible. Jordan LaBelle could get hurt. Crane Dillon could get hurt. All the top guys could get hurt, and Daniel Benham could be right there. But Daniel Benham needs to minimize his mistakes. We saw him have an incident at Canterbury. We saw him not get the starts. We saw him not being consistent in top 5 finishes, top 3 finishes, which you want to get those points. But he just needs to get hole shots and run away like he did at Ironwood and the first Canterbury, because that's what he did. He got the hole shot and checked out. So be more consistent, Dan. I want to see you up there, and I want to see you challenging these top guys. You're currently sitting in 4th, right behind Emil Haar, right behind Jordan LaBelle, or right behind Craig Dillon and Jordan LaBelle in top 4. So be more consistent. Get your crap together and really make it a nail biter on this championship. Talked about that. One more thing. I want to see more big sends at these ISOC national races. This is the big show. This is the premier series for snowcross racing. And we saw that at Canterbury 2.0. Track was phenomenal. The triple section, the rhythm section. Some people like to say that they loved Canterbury 1.0 a lot better than 2.0, but the track itself held together a lot better at Canterbury 2.0 than 1.0. But I want to see more big sends. You guys at Snowcross, you better listen, because if you're not, then I don't know what you're doing wrong, but you got to listen. The fans want big sends. You are the premier series for snowmobile racing. Make it the premier series. Okay? We have the European series over there in Europe. We have the Swedish Championship. We have the European Championship. We have all these other championships, races, or series that have big jumps, that have big sends. But you look at CSRA, and they have big sends as well. And everybody from the European side over from Canada at the CSRA, they all come to ISOC because it's the premier series. They want to see a big show, do fireworks, do a laser show, do, you guys used to do spray paint Air Force on the snow right by the Jumbotron. I remember that in 2017 at the New York National. So do something crazy, and also get the flames going for the pro women, pro light classes. You guys missed out on that. You guys missed out on that in New York, but you guys got to elevate the show a little bit here. Don't make it just cookie cutter. Make it a great show. Make it so then the fans are more engaged. Make it so then the riders are more engaged. Get the riders back on the track. Get the riders so then they can walk the track during races. They're wearing helmets. They're wearing full protective gear. Why can't they be out here while media is out there? It's not that hard. Just make it happen, or make it so then ISR doesn't have to be putting their thumb on everything, because that you guys have made the tracks way more safer now. There's more wide open areas in the center. There's a big snowcross barricade between the track and the fans, so it's a lot safer. But you guys got to make it so then the show is phenomenal. Make it so the show is phenomenal for everybody, because then that's going to make sponsors want to come back and support the series. That's going to make riders want to come back and ride the series. It's going to make fans want to come back and enjoy the show. So just listen. Just listen to what we want. Not just me. I want a really big show. But listen to the fans. Listen to the riders. Make it exciting. Make it huge. Make it the best show that you can possibly make it. Moving on. Let's go to New York, where it is New York. I was born and raised there, so it's kind of a home race for me, but living in Minnesota, ERX is a home race. So take it as you will. Salamanca, New York, the New York fans came out swinging regardless of the weather that we had. We had some rain Thursday night. I didn't really get to see the rain. I was already in the hotel room, and I think it rained sometime during the night, and it kind of washed away about a foot or 2 feet of the snow that was on the track. But Kevin over there, the one groomer, he was blowing for 2 weeks over there. Right when Canterbury 2.0 was done, he went straight to New York. Didn't even go to Valcourt. So he was out there for not even 2 weeks. Sorry, he was out there for almost a month and a half. Just prepping the track and getting it ready. So kudos to Kevin, one of the groomers out there, doing a phenomenal job making sure that the track was top-notch at New York. But I have to say that the track was very difficult. The track was not technical, it was difficult. Besides the uphill section and the staircase coming down the hill where the dog leg was, and the track was really cool because they did something different. They went the opposite way. Instead of having all left-handers, they had a right-hander and one left-hander, which was really, really cool. I really love that. I love that they make it unique. Kevin was the one that told me that he wanted to try it, and honestly, I think the racing was great. The corners got really, really deep and made it hard for riders to navigate, and the top riders made it look very easy. As we saw with Creighton Dillon, Jordan LaBelle, they made it look super easy. And Cameron Cole also made it look really easy. But I do have to say that with the rain, it made the track very soft. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, I gave the track rating a 6.2 out of 10. The reason, because the track was very difficult for these guys or for these athletes to navigate. The rhythm section, I felt like the landings should have been cut down a little bit compared to the faces of the jumps. There should have been more air. The Air Force flyaway was not that big. And also Friday, I think that the finish line was a table to single, which some riders were doing. All the pro guys were doing it. And then the face kind of was starting to go away. Pro Women's was doing it. Sportlight was doing it. But the face was starting to go away, so they weren't really being able to triple. But they should have made the track a lot more racy. They shouldn't have had that second rhythm section after the finish line. They should have done something different, like a table to a single, or the finish line, have that at tabletop, and then have maybe a step up. Step up would have been really cool. Or having a different rhythm section there. They could have done something really, really cool. But some people loved the track. Some people didn't. I wasn't a fan. But I did like the dog leg going up the hill. I thought that was really cool. And the name that they gave it, the staircase coming down, was really cool. We got to start nicknaming these tracks and the sections on the tracks, because that's really cool. Yeah. So going back to Creighton Dillon said on the podium Friday night that he is completely sick of getting second place, and he is like Hunter Lawrence. But the funny thing with Hunter Lawrence, he has the red plates in Supercross, and he is winning. He is winning races, and Creighton, I think the only thing that's missing is those red plates on your sled. So be careful battling with Jordan LaBelle, because I know Jordan's not gonna give up easy, and the face that we saw from Jordan LaBelle, he does not look very happy when he loses. Saturday night, we saw him. He just did not look happy that he got second place, or not second place, third place. I think it was third place. Yeah, because Emil Haar got second, which kudos to Emil Haar, and also Emil Haar won Friday night. So that's a huge momentum shift for him and Vignette Motorsports, and also to get double podiums the whole weekend of New York. So New York really, really, really likes Vignette Motorsports. Emil Haar, it's always treated them well. But back to the Creighton Dillon red plate thing, is that how we were going back and forth, and he told me, he's like, you better be handing me those red plates, because I'm going to be holding them soon. And I was like, all right, they got your name written all over them, but you're going to be battling Jordan LaBelle for the red plates. So you better be ready to have the fight. You guys better have your gloves ready for that fight. It's going to be a boxing match. Moving on from that, everybody has kind of stayed the same. There has been a lot of red plate shifts throughout some of the younger classes, but we're not going to touch on that right now. We do want to touch on the big marketing strategy that the snowmobile industry has seen from the three manufacturers in the game right now, Skidoo, Polaris, and Arctic Cat. Skidoo and Polaris dropped their new sled lines at the same exact time. And there was a guy that did a post saying that it was structurally done that way so then the snowmobile industry would have a shift in itself. We know that the snowmobile industry is small. I think it was like 100,000 or something like that. It's not quite as much as our, not quite as big as the motorcycle industry, but this paradigm shift that we have seen from Polaris, Skidoo, and Arctic Cat and how they're doing their marketing is phenomenal. I will go on the record and say that it is phenomenal what they're doing. Dropping new snowmobiles is huge with innovations that are pushing the limits. We see that Arctic Cat has, what is it? What is it called? Power steering in their new models, and that's a huge thing. We saw that drop at Heydays, but for all the manufacturers to be dropping new snowmobiles at the time that they did was huge. I do believe that was a good time for them to do that, and they have been pushing content throughout the season. Skidoo just dropped this week a video with Blair Morgan, Elias Ashul, another guy that I've never heard of, but Arctic Cat did the same thing when they did their release. They had about, I think it was like an hour video explaining their new mountain trail crossover sleds, and with the new color schemes, new turbo sleds, and I think it was there was a new 4-stroke. But it was huge for the snowmobile market. Moving out of that, rumors of Topi Rien. Hopefully I'm saying your last name right. Topi Rien. Regardless, he did come out and say that he is going to come and compete at ERX National and also Eagle River, competing in 2 races out of the last 3 of the ISOC National Tour. In the Pro Light division, he races Pro over in Europe, competing with Aki Palaya and some of the other big names over there. So for him to come over here and get his feet wet in the ISOC National Tour is huge. It's another competitor. It's going to be a battle for all the top 5 guys in Pro Light, with Topi jumping in. We also did see Topi Posty come back Friday with Lucas Racing at New York. He did compete. He didn't seem like he was right there, but it was really cool for him to come back and have an opportunity. I know Mickelson had an injury. I think he broke his leg or something like that at Canterbury. So Topi Posty is a fill-in rider on the Lucas Racing team. And also Aki Palaya and Aki's previous mechanic, Ozzy, is going to be coming over with Topi to help him compete here in the States with coaching, wrenching on the sled. This is really cool. This is cool to see 2 legends of the sport come back over and be in the atmosphere of ISOC Nationals. They have not been in the game for quite some time. Aki Palaya was with Theme Motorsports. I do believe that was his last year. And Ozzy was also back here too as well with Aki, wrenching for Aki. But really, really cool to see them coming back and helping Topi contest his Pro Late debut at ERX. 3-time Swedish champion Wilma Johnson making her pro women debut at ERX. There is not any clarification if she's going to be doing any more, but it was stated that she's going to be competing at ERX in the pro women's class. So this is really cool for Wilma. This is really a big stepping stone for pro women's. I know that Wilma had an opportunity to come and race full time here in the States, but she couldn't solidify a ride. The team that she was going to ride for actually had a different rider sign on, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But it's cool that Wilma is going to be coming over here and dipping her feet into the ISOC National Tour as well, seeing where she stands with the top riders in the pro women's class. And moving forward to our rider updates, this part of the segment is brought to you by CNA Pro Skis. If you're not on CNA Pro Skis, I don't know what you're doing, but you got to jump on the board. Best skis on the market, best customizable sleds on the market, and the best sleds that are going to handle to whatever abuse that you give them. Whether you're in the mountains, watercross, snowcross, trail, doing, whatever you do with your snowmobile, you got to have a CNA Pro Skis attached on the front. They're like boots for your sled. So hit up caproskis.net, grab yourself a set of CNA Pro Skis, and also get them customized, because that's a cool option that they offer. And what they're doing over there at CNA Pro Skis, the visions that they come up with athletes, with people that have their own input, and they're not even pro riders, is out of this world. So again, check out cnaproskis.net for your custom set of CNA Pro Skis. So let's jump right in to these rider updates. We have Kevin Wallenstein, which is a previous pro-like competitor. I want to say that he competed with K2 Motorsports, Bowerly Racing, and a few others. I know that he rode all three brands, but I'm unsure of what teams those were. I'm not even going to try to guess. But let's jump right in. I asked him what got him back into snowcross. I know that he was racing at Northern Power Race Park at the Border Cup. I noticed him there, and I knew the name because when I was watching snowcross and also getting my feet wet into the Nationals in 2014, sorry. I knew that Kevin Wallenstein was competing at that time, and then when I heard his name later in the racing world, I think it was 2016 to 17, I kind of was following him in his pro light racing career, and to see him now back is really, really cool. He is a Michigan native, and yeah, I just wanted to see how his weekend at New York was and if he's going to be competing at any more ISOC national races. So let's jump right in. Austin Leak is a good friend of mine and wanted to ride the last race at Northern Race Park last year, so I let him borrow a sled I had bought from Bowerly Racing years ago and rode a handful of times over the years at random practice days. It was really hard to sit there and watch. I was kind of missing out on the fun. A fair amount of the guys racing it were people I grew up racing against, so I wanted to get back out there. I also rode one of Austin's ditch banger sleds for a race, which was super fun. New York was awesome. Couldn't ask for a better weekend back at the Nationals. Been a long time since I've been at the top step of the podium at those races, so that felt awesome. Certainly makes the drive and the money spent more worth it. Track was gnarly, so that was quite the welcoming back. Rest of the season plans are a little up in the air. Going to finish out the races at Northern Power Race Park. I'm currently leading points there, so I want to get that win. I've been really enjoying the regionals. Tracks have been really good and good racing. Also, the regionals are a little bit more chill, which is nice. Not sure if we are going to race any more nationals. It's a lot of money and time to go race them. If we did another, we would probably only do one. So there it is. He said he doesn't know if he's going to do another race at the Nationals, but hopefully he does. I would say that Duluth is a little bit closer to him than any of the other races. Maybe E or X, but I think Duluth is the closest one for him. I could be wrong. I'm just kind of throwing guesses out there, but that would be one to go to. Duluth is always a fantastic race venue. The track is huge. We've seen it the last couple of years. The track has been really big with going down the hill, coming back up the hill, and the rhythm section down towards the finish has been really good. But it's cool that he's got back into it from his good friend Austin Leak. We know Austin from doing an interview with him at the Border Cup, and also being up there for to cover that event. So to see Kevin Wallenstein back at New York was a phenomenal sight to see. He really put it to the guys in Pro 30. I would say that Corin Todd had a hard time keeping up with him. Kevin was full on, didn't let go of that throttle. It was throttle to the bar all the way, and he just dominated the weekend, getting 2 wins. So for him for him and his trip and his family, it was all worth it. So awesome ride in New York, Kevin. I hope to see you at another race before the end of the season, but if not, we look forward to seeing you in 2027. Yeah, 2027 competing in Pro 30 class. Moving next, we jumped into the junior girls class, and we messaged Peyton Weisbrod. She is one of the top competitors in the class, in the junior girls 9 to 13 class, and she has been really consistent up into New York. We have seen her on the box a whole lot, and it was kind of weird not to see her on the podium in New York. But I asked her how her weekend went in New York, and what was the kind of the thing that was hindering her from getting on the box. So let's jump right in. I was struggling with sinus infection, and I couldn't get the rhythm down in the rhythm section. I've never had a career win in snowcross. I'd love to have it in my hometown, even if I just get on the podium. It'd be big, and a lot of my sponsors will be there supporting me. With the next race coming up in New York, or not New York, at ERX in her backyard, her hometown race, for her to get back on the podium would be huge for her sponsors, and I look forward to her battling it with the top girls, Eva Gifford, Lila Hemmer, Charlie Bateau, and a few of the other girls that are battling in this class. Also, I can say that she was one of the people that had a hard time, especially the rest of the junior girls. They all were having a hard time in that rhythm section at New York. Just watching them not being able to clear that rhythm section was painful to watch, if you will. But let's move on to the last athlete here, and that'll be the end of the podcast. Cameron Watchler, he races full-time at the CSRA Nationals over in Canada, and he came over to race New York. And I think he's going to compete in some of the other races too. But him jumping into the Pro Light class, I did talk to him at New York, and he said this class is very, very fast. The competition is very steep, and also the track was something that he didn't really anticipate. So, I just wanted to ask him again how his weekend was, and if he's going to be competing again in any other nationals. So let's dive right in. We definitely had a lot higher goals than we actually achieved, but we got to start somewhere and take every loss as it is a learning experience. We definitely were on the tough side, battling with suspension setups all weekend. That track was like nothing I've ever ridden. The warm weather mixed with the already huge whoops, creating some of the most intense racing conditions possible. As of right now, we are planning to be back for Duluth and possibly Eagle River. I'll say it again. The rhythm section at New York was not a good rhythm section at all. They were too far apart, and they were I shouldn't even say they were too deep, because I liked that they were deep and steep, but they were just too far apart for the sleds or for the riders to make it an actual rhythm section. It was back to the Smash Fest, which I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do about that. But I think you should shorten them up a little bit and make it so then they can get a good rhythm section out of there, or get good rhythm out of that section, because it's called a rhythm section. It's not called a smash section. So let's get that straightened out. But for him to jump in and have a track that he was not expecting to be that rough, I guess with the weather, yeah, it made it a rough track. It made it a rough track for a lot of people. But for him to come out and compete, I know New York is the closest one for a lot of the CSRA athletes, but for him to come out and compete was really cool. And another athlete that came out, which we'll talk about here in a second when we're done talking about Cameron, but for Cameron to announce that he's going to be competing at Duluth, really, really cool. I love that. It's the last race of the season, and hopefully he makes it out to Eagle River, because I know that Eagle River is going to be a huge track, huge event. They've been blowing snow. I don't think they're going to stop blowing snow until a couple days before the event, which let's do it, because last year it was a puddle. Where they had the podium, they actually had to move the podium up onto by parking by the pro pits up on that hill. So the snow was just melting, and it was about probably 3 feet of standing water right by the finish line. It was not a good weekend, and it rained. It was foggy. It was not a good weekend, but conditions wise, I should say, it was a fun weekend regardless of what the conditions were. The track was a good one. I thought the track was really good last year, but hopefully we see Cameron Watchler at Eagle River. So make it happen, buddy. And the other athlete that we saw that competed was Tyler Billings. I know Tyler is a CSRA rider, and he loves to talk about mods. He loves riding his mod sled. We talked to him. We bumped elbows a little bit at New York, and he's like, I love riding my mod sled, my 600 mod sled. And that thing is a cherry. But he competed in the Pro 30, and I think he struggled a little bit. I think he struggled a little bit to stay up with those guys. But it was, again, another cool thing to see a few of the CSRA guys come and compete at the ISOC National Tour. I think you guys should be competing at a lot more events, and hopefully not in the future. Hopefully a lot of the weekends don't conflict, so then you guys can compete at the ISOC National Tours, or ISOC National Tour. So yeah, that's going to be the end of the podcast for episode 36. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit that notification, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, do all the good stuff. Share this podcast, and really blow up all the social media pages. Drop your comments below on what you guys thought of Valcourt, New York, and if there needs to be a better show for the Nationals, as it is the top premier series for snowmobile racing. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts, and stay good. I'll see you guys at ERX, and yeah.